my alts plot back on the bingo hall project. Happy to say that Saturday's bingo bash evening with my guild went splendidly. I was really delighted at the turnout. I think we had 12 or 13 people that showed up, and we just spent an hour goofing around and mostly TeamSpeak, but I think they gathered actually in town. I'm just goofing around. I'm kind of playing with the idea that if ever I finish this thing before they get tired of the bingo stuff, I'll try and get them all to come here and we'll do like a little group photo or something. Just to kind of memorialize the event. And nothing other than that, really. As you can see, I haven't done anything to this. I've been very good about keeping my building antics for stream only. So we're pretty much left off where we are now. So got most of the countertop here set up. So we're just going to work on finishing that off today. We'll probably do some decorations on the walls, finish installing on the tables and chairs, and eventually start putting in the roof and lighting because I think it'll be kind of weird to leave it open and having those huge sconces hanging above us. So first though, I do think I'm going to readjust these a bit. I don't like that that's kind of like overlapping the countertop there. Even though I would prefer it to be kind of in the center, and I could move this over, but then that kind of throws all of this off, so I'm just going to, let's see, let me do the reload UI first. Just so that the controls work like they're supposed to. Anyway, we had a raid night last night. The second part of, like they do, we do the 2 nights with the raid into 2 evenings, so you get like the first set of bosses for the first night, and then the goal is to try and get as much time in on some of the later bosses that we haven't had as much practice with on the second night. And last night was the first night that we actually got to see Umna, or however you pronounce the name. I personally only got 1 try in on it because I always leave right at the raid end time. I've gotten into trouble before where I start going, well, I can stay 5 minutes longer, and 10 minutes longer, what's the other half hour? And then I end up just staying, you know, way beyond what I planned, and it starts to become a habit, and then I kind of start getting annoyed with myself and all that. So I promised that with WildStar I'd stick with, you know, stick to my guns about not succumbing to the pressure of, you know, taking on more than I intend. Because when I was playing WoW, we were raiding like, I don't know, 4 or 5 nights a week, and it's not that it wasn't fun, it's just it became kind of like a side occupation kind of thing. It was just very tiring, and at my age I really don't need that kind of extra pressure. So I in fact wasn't even really intending to raid in WildStar, but my guild has been such a great bunch of people that it hasn't been a burden of any sort, and I would just like to keep it that way. So anyway, I think some of the others went ahead and stayed back and did some of you know, did work on it a little bit more, but I don't think actually finished it. Otherwise, I think our chat box on the guild website would have been like going berserk. But even still, I think it's a really big accomplishment for a guild like ours, because we're pretty super casual, and while raiding is a big aspect of the guild, it's not like the primary one. We have a lot of people with a lot of interests, and while we, do take our rating and stuff seriously, it's still very, it's not like a hardcore group. I just think it's really nice how well they've been doing. And I did get my first legendary. That was a pretty big moment for me yesterday. I think most of my guildies that have been running in the raids about as long as I have, I think most of them have like 3 or 4. So that was a pretty big accomplishment that I finally got my first. Part of that is because when they went to the 2 nights a week setup, I opted to just stick with 1 night a week. Like I said, I don't want it to become an overwhelming thing in my life again, the raiding. So I promised myself I wouldn't start offering myself for several nights a week for the raiding scene, because I just don't want to do that. So that means I don't have as many opportunities for the loot drops. But they've been very understanding on that, which is nice. And of course, it seems like every time I turn around, we're getting new people. We're finally starting having to ask people to sit out on occasion, because in the beginning, I think we were having I think we had as few as 13 or 14 at one point, and it would kind of fluctuate between that and 18, 19. We never had a full raid group until just, I think it was last week. And now it's starting to be consistently at least 20 plus people are starting to sign up and say, hey, I'm interested in. And so that's good. I mean, that means more opportunity for the guild to progress, in theory. And I don't think the plan is to go past 2 nights a week as far as raiding goes. That could change though if the demand for it is pretty high. But currently we set it up for Friday nights and Sunday nights. And the Sunday night one is set an hour earlier, so to accommodate those that tend to have early morning on the following Monday, especially those at work. While I don't work, I do get up and do things, so. Need my beauty sleep, I guess. Let's see, I'll just grab your 10 or so. Anyway, things are going really nice with the guild, so, if you find that you have gotten into WildStar and you feel like either you're not really interacting with people, or you're not finding the help you need, be it through random meetings of people while they're questing in the same area that you are, or, using the general chat channels, the zone chat and stuff. If you're not finding that up to par and you have yet to join the guild, I really do recommend you give that a shot, even if you've had poor experiences in the past, which I can relate to that. you just never know. So far, uh, it's just been a pleasant experience. So I really can't diss the guild scene. Granted, I'm talking about my own guild, and not everybody's guild is the same. But I'm sure ours isn't the only worthy one out there. Yeah, definitely I'll look into that. There's plenty of topics in the recruitment section of the forums that clearly outlines the goals and interests of each guild that's currently recruiting, and hopefully you can find one that matches, your needs, your own personal goals. Um, okay. That's fine. A little bit of an overlap, which is okay. Again, not that big a deal. Maybe I should pull these out a little bit. Try and get that all in for the same. I should 1445. Apparently there was some auction house issue. I hadn't noticed. Because typically when I first pop into the game, the only thing I check is my own inventory. Because usually, if I've been out questing or raiding or whatever, there's tends to be like junk I've picked up from mobs, and of course I always grab extra foods and stuff, and I always try to reorganize my my bags a little bit next day, because usually when I'm done with whatever I'm doing in the evening, I just kind of like, I'll leave it for tomorrow and just go on. It's like my gear that I picked up yesterday in the raid. I haven't even ruined it and stuff yet. I'll get to that sometime before the next raid. Okay, so there's the counter. Now this is a little gappy. I could leave it. Really is not that big of an issue if I was to leave that out like that, I think. But just for giggles, I guess I will go ahead and drop another one down there to kind of fill that in. Camera to angle, right? like I said, it's not necessary because there are cabinets with little uplifted bases and things like that. So I could have left some of these maybe open and have some shelving and stuff in there, which I may do later, but I think for now we're just going to keep it simple. Keep the merchandise not in... Hanging on that thing in there. Not going to have a lot of like drawers and stuff. I'm just going to keep the merchandise on the shelves. And probably, just to make it simple, grab a couple of speaker bots that we can use as our vendor dudes, so we don't have to rely on role players to help in. Because again, this really isn't going to be used for anything significant. So, turn Bob. I guess. And then we'll put Bob Jr. right around here. And let's see. Just for some stuffs. See what kind of food items we've got here. Nothing for dandy. All the nice little drink items. There's renown. Well, we'll just get a soda cup. That looks more casual for like a bingo hall. So let's see. We'll just put his drink here, or whoever it is. My drink, since I'm the caller for the guild's bingo stuff. Let's see. That look about sized right. That looks better. Don't ask me why I rotated it. It's just, I don't know. Figure the straw would be kind of turned away to not avoid, not to bump that. I don't know. Just happened to turn it. One of those thingies. Okay, so we decided that we were going to use the Cassian floors for bingo cards. So we're just going to, not CAD, pass. Gonna pop a few out. And since my guildies only get one card a piece, figured I would do the same here. I know in reality, I've seen some folks when they go to the bingo hall, they got like a whole table full of cards, and typically the caller has a set rhythm as far as they have so many seconds or so between each call, and they keep it regular, and they say, you play at your own risk if you're going to go get a bunch of cards, because you can only scan them so quickly. So if you're got I don't know, 15, 20 cards in front of you, and they're calling a number every X amount of seconds, and you can't make it all the way through that before they've already called the next number, you're running the risk of missing a bingo or calling too late or something like that. So you see these people just like speed readers trying to make sure that they get everything marked properly. But for the sake of simplicity, I made it to where my guildies just get the one card. It's not a huge responsibility. I think we did have one person miss one of the calls. Thankfully, they mentioned it. They were saying, "Oh, all I need is this," and we were like, "That's already been called." And he was like, "Oh my gosh!" But that's why I didn't want to make it too complicated. Just like the patterns that we're using, I haven't made them too complex. It's just straight bingo, double bingo, and then the blackout. Even though there are some really zany patterns that they could be required to play. I may do that at another kind of bingo thing. This month, it's just every Saturday we're doing the little one bingo, two bingo, and blackout kind of progressive game each Saturday evening. But if folks are pretty happy with the game and think they might want to have another similar event, I may not do a month-long thing, but I could have like a special full-on bingo night and introduce them to some unusual patterns like crazy tea and six-pack and a layer cake and all of that kind of stuff. But that will come later. Forgetting to fix that before I place it. Let's see. Probably gonna do just keep it two to a table. That seems the most comfortable because people when they go in, it's not like an airplane kind of place where you're trying to get everybody packed in like sardines. Most people, especially in this kind of thing, they're in for one, they want privacy. They don't want their neighbors seeing what numbers they need necessarily. They want to keep it a secret because a lot of people are kind of superstitious when it comes to bingo. They have their own little magic, lucky charm, like stuffed animals or other kind of little gadgets, and you'll see them having them lined all up in front of their little juju bits that think will help them win. And if somebody knows that they're like one number away and they see it, they feel like it kind of jinxes them that their number won't come up because that person saw it. And so a lot of people kind of territorial about their little space. So I don't think it's a good idea to overcrowd here as well. So I really wish we could disable the sit function when we're building. I really wish the arrows wouldn't disappear. Or as my son used to say when he was little, mist appeared. I don't know why he would say it like that, but now I'm probably not going to put cards in front of all of them, but I will put down chairs for all of them, and I'll probably adjust them here and there because I don't want them all just square and and perfectly aligned. So I'll turn a few like I did with this one just to kind of make it feel a little more lived in, like it's not perfect. The chairs even have offset, apparently. I did not know that. A little handy, that way I can just click the one that I want to move over. Whoops. Didn't mean to move it like that though. Here is, okay, kind of hard to see the arrow stuffs. Yeah, as I was telling a visitor Friday, I think it was, bingo was a pretty big pastime for our family when I was growing up. I come from a really like a podunk town in the States, so, and like I said, it was before the interwebs really became a big thing. I mean, it was out there, but it wasn't as readily available to just any old Joe. And we had our own forms of entertainment, and bingo was one of them. I mean, I come from the place of tractor pulls and lawnmower derbies and junk like that, so bingo was kind of the classy activity. Granted, for the majority, I guess it was more of the elderly that participated in it, at least in my neck of the woods, because we visited a lot. The VFW, I think it's the Veterans of Foreign Wars, and they do like the little Pledge of Allegiance thing before it, and other stuff. Their little traditions and things that they did. But you could almost guarantee it was smoky, and popcorn was available. I know that some of the others would get a little bit more elaborate. They'd actually serve dinner, and because some of the people that would come to play would like come straight from work right into the bingo hall and then just spend the entire evening and from there go home. So they didn't have their dinners, and they would eat there at the bingo hall. Okay. And see, it's gonna be kind of funny because I think the floor is gonna be down below it, the one that actually was the phone, and I'm gonna be was already there. So again, that's why I don't like to clone the floors. The stuff that offsets down below something, when it's like this, is kind of awkward. In my opinion, I prefer being able to see what I'm doing. Let's grab some more floors. We'll leave a few of these without cards. Maybe I'll, let's see. Maybe this one is watching the cards for both of them. Maybe this one went to the bathroom or something. So we're going to put them both together. Just to be different. That one doesn't have anybody. Oops. Well, what you click, we'll just, I want to sit. Where's that arrow? We'll just push that one in. Nobody's. Apologies if you can hear the cars. I've got the window open because it is a little warm already this morning. I have left it open, and sometimes the traffic can get a little heavy. Not like a main road per se, but noisy enough that you can't ignore it. Oh, excuse me. Okay, first I'm gonna kind of check out so far. Your knees kind of close. Okay, let me check this out. Yeah, it's still wait. I can push it in and still have it look kind of normal. Now, again, I'm just doing this to her settings, so you know, if I have my guildmates come to pose for a screenshot or something, it may not be quite as comfortable for them. Not sure. We shall find out, I guess. I wish it would like automatically have the controls for the one that's cloned already selected. You just clone and drag, clone and drag. It doesn't do it like that. Just trying to mix it up a little bit so they don't all look the same. You can have it that way if that's what you prefer. If you like a more orderly kind of arrangement, that's perfectly fine. I just prefer to kind of not have it so orderly. It's just a personal preference of mine. You could have some of the chairs missing and like have them stacked up over here, which I may go ahead and do that for some of them. You know, there may be a few gaps. In fact, let's Quit trying to sit in a chair. I'll start leaving a few out. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Is whoops, I moved the add-on rather than the chair itself. Like, we'll have this one, she's sitting by herself, hogging the table all to herself. Because again, I prefer to kind of mix it up a little. I don't want it exactly the same everywhere. Okay, so let's lay out a few cards using the second row here. See, when I do the paste from here, it has the toolbar already set. Just noticing that these are all kind of lined up the same. Okay. Let's see, did I already copy? No. What I get for multitasking. I'm bad anyway, even if I'm not multitasking, but it's worse when I've got a couple of things going on. If I've got a guildie that just woke up, they're going to be heading off to work in a little bit, but they decide to sneak in to do a little bit of work on their housing plot, so. Ugh. There's the wrong arrow. Green one, green one. I'm so bad at clicking what I don't mean to click. Maybe there's no cards there, and this one's got two, like over here, but they're playing just by themselves. For cheating, they got two cards. Oh, let's see. Need some more floors. And I'll add some more touches elsewhere, but we're just kind of getting it kind of laid out for now. Kind of the basic Okay, let's see how the pointing for this works. I'm not sure what cloned. Might have been the card. Yeah, it was the card. I'll just hang that out here. I guess I didn't copy the table. I must have clicked the card instead. Hey, Connor. Okay, let's see how this looks. Yep, the bingo hall. Probably not something for everybody, but it fits the current things that are going on. So, figured what the hey, I'll give it a try. Okay, I'm gonna see if that needs to be lifted. No, that come out alright. Yes, my character is level capped. She's 50. Been 54. Honestly, I don't know how long. It's been very long. And the bingo hall, it's mostly just inspired by a guild event that I've been holding, or I will be holding for the month of August. We had our first event this past Saturday, and I will be holding it again every Saturday thereafter, just in the month of June. It's just kind of a thing on the side. You know, you have your usual RP events, you have your dungeon diving kind of events and PvP stuff, and I like throwing in little oddball kind of things, so I thought my guildies might enjoy a little game of bingo. So we got together in TeamSpeak, and I rattled around my box of tiles and called out. They all have a card with summer-themed name, you know, words like sunglasses and cycling and canoe, and we just spent an hour Saturday evening goofing around with that. I offered prize money for those that made a bingo in the pattern that was required, and went pretty good. So they all seemed to be pretty enthusiastic about it, and but because of that, it got me to thinking, well, what if I had actually built a bingo hall? How would it look? Could I set one up to make it kind of resemble an actual bingo hall? And that's the main reason that I'm building it, not for anything specific beyond that. Like I said, the guild, we're not actually meeting up. I say that we're not actually meeting up in game, but most of them did. They ended up hanging out in, I think it was the Academy corner there in Thade, just goofing around with their mounts and stuff. But I didn't want that to be a requirement for the event, because a lot of people, when you make events, there's typically level restrictions, zone restrictions, or it's very super specific about, like, well, you have to, you know, have this type of gear or that, you know, that kind of thing. I wanted mine to be kind of open to everybody, so I said, you know, the main thing, just hop in the chat and listen in on TS if you want. It wasn't a requirement even for that. No, I'm not in the UK. I am located in Belgium, which is about an hour off from that, time zone wise. And for leveling, personally, I prefer the questing. I don't do a lot of dungeoning. I did do some ship hands here and there, mostly because those are soloable if you want to do them that way. But I tend to stick with questing. I just do every quest I can come across. Um, I'm not one of those that as soon as my level allows me to jump to the next zone, I don't immediately leave the zone I'm in. I just go in and finish whatever I'm doing in that zone. So I think I ended up being like a little bit above what I probably could have entered a zone. You know, maybe say the zone is like from level 25 to 30. I probably actually entered it maybe at 26, 27 rather than at the immediate 25. Um, a lot of people like to move on as fast as they can, and then, you know, when they start to get into the high 40s type, you know, levels like that, then they're like, well, I'm run out of things to do. And for me, I prefer the questing part. I think there's some that did it through PvP stuff, I think. Others strictly, once they were eligible for dungeon type of events, that's what they stuck with entirely. Because a lot of people don't like the questing part. I mean, they'll do like the basic bit just to kind of follow the main line, but all of the like side, all you know, non-required tasks and stuff, they would avoid like the plague. But for me, I tend to play solo most of the time, so questing is the best way for me to get through a lot of things. I do belong to a guild, and I could have uh, participated in, you know, multiplayer kind of activities. If I recall right, though, I don't think I joined my guild until after I was already cap at the time, because I'm kind of picky about what group I hang out with. So. Oh, what do I do? I'm a housewife, so my husband supports me. Um, he says I'm living his dream. He would rather it be the other way around, that I worked and he stayed at home. So let's see. I need some more tables. Let's see. One more. 4. Now I can do it like this, copying the usual way, or I can just copy it with Katya's tool here and just do it that way. Either one works. In some instances, I prefer the old way as to the add-on, but well, I'm glad I'm streaming too. I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did. I thought I would be kind of one, I didn't think I would have anything interesting enough for people to want to even look. But I've kind of decided that, oh, I don't care. If nobody's around, that's alright. I don't mind talking to myself. I know that there are some people that watch my videos on their free time, well after the video's already been made. They'll watch the archived stuff, and they use it for their own purposes, you know, kind of coming up with ideas for their own plots and stuff, because all of my stuff is housing related. So, you know, if you're not a housing fan, this definitely is not the stream for you. There's other kind of more action-oriented kind of streaming out there, plenty of it. You know, while my guild does raid, and I do participate in raiding, and I do dungeon, and I do chip hands and stuff, I tend to not broadcast me using my skills or lack thereof, because I'm probably the worst player to kind of use as an example. So I figure it's best I just stick with stuff that I'm a little more comfortable with. Okay, so another set of chairs. We'll go ahead and make this one. They're all there, but maybe not all occupied. So let's see, 2, 4, 6, 10. Now again, if I use the clone tool, I don't actually have to go to the vendor to buy. It will buy it straight from the vendor for me, but I kind of like paying attention. I don't want to just keep using the clone tool and not really be watching, because especially if it's an item that you are spending renown for, you might not want to spend all your renown without really paying attention, and I just think it's better to, for me, I prefer to kind of have a little bit more control over where I'm, because if I'm just cloning, I tend to forget how many I've bought, and at least having a little closer look at it by buying it, counting it myself as I'm going, ensures I don't buy too many, more than I'm intending to. Whoops, wrong chair. Try this one. There we go. Yeah, that's okay. Not any closer though, then it'll feel kind of cramped. Well, I appreciate the comments, Connor, and I do. Those that come in mainly to disrupt and stuff, I pretty much ignore them. I know they're out there, and folks get their kicks in certain ways, and you know that's their thing. You know, go for it. But no, I figured I'd done a little bit of research before I started streaming as to, you know, like some tips and things, and most of them said just pick something that you like doing, that you feel knowledgeable about. I mean, while I don't know everything about housing, I feel pretty confident about most of what I talk about. And they said as long as you're doing something like that and you're enjoying yourself, that's the main thing. You know, while the audience is important, it's not the defining part. It's you're just supposed to be yourself, and so there will be some that don't enjoy listening to me talk, because that's just going to be the way of the world. But well, I've had my introduction to some of the trolls. I've had them ask some strange things, or they'll spam the chat sometimes. But typically, if you just kind of ignore them, they get tired of it, they get bored, and move on to somebody else's. I think that's the case in any aspect, not just gaming. You know, you have folks that are that way in school and at work, and just kind of, you either learn to deal with it or ignore it, you know, in your own way, and move on and not let it kind of ruin the fun for you, or, you know, you stop what you're doing. And I don't really have any intention of stopping, because I enjoy it too much, making junk and talking to people that have the same interests. I think it's a fun extra layer to my gaming experience. Let's see. Let me just put a few of the chairs out and do it that way. The old-fashioned way. Well, they really come in huge. I think that's even big for a Granok. I really do hate that she sits in it every time I try to. But again, like I said, my kind of stream, while it may appeal to some, I'm sure there's a lot that find it pretty boring because building isn't like an adrenaline rush like raiding and stuff might be. Granted, I always was a little confused by those that enjoy watching someone else raid or play a game that they play too, because for me, I would want to be playing the game and not watching somebody else play the game. The only time I would see that watching someone else raiding or something would be not necessary but a good idea is like if you're looking for tips on tactics and things like that. If you're having trouble with a certain aspect of a boss encounter, then I think watching somebody else might actually, help you out. But just to watch, to see them achieve whatever they're working on or something, and listening to them rant around with their guild and stuff, I would prefer to be the one in the raid with the guild and chatting away. But I know some people watch these videos because they're not sure they want to even, get involved with WildStar, and this is a good opportunity for them to check that out. And if raiding and dungeoning and stuff is their thing, then yeah, they're going to watch those type of videos. Oops. Quit sitting in the chair. Okay, let's see. Move this one. Actually, let's do this one different. Maybe it's somebody that's coming but isn't quite here yet. They want his seat reserved. I don't know if you've ever seen somebody like tilt a chair so that nobody else will sit in it. I don't know if that looks right. Something like that. I don't know, that might look a little weird, but we'll leave it for now. It's something different. Okay, that's the first set of seats and tables. So now I'll do, I think, just 2 more rows. I want to leave this kind of open for those that might be standing in line. They don't want to be too crowded by having too many rows of tables back here. So I think 2 more will work for us. And maybe have that back row more or less empty. And then having the chairs stacked to the side so that, maybe the bingo hall's got plenty of room for like X number of people, but not X number of people showed up. But they have the spare chairs and stuff if, they have more than they thought. Okay, so let's see. Let's just do the tables real quick. And that's 5, so we need 10 more. 8, 9, 10. Okay, so 10 tables. Okay, I think if I remember right, this had a pretty good, it didn't have an offset when it cloned, so I'm just going to clone. Maybe. There we go. Just gonna clone, let's see. Maybe it makes sense to have this closer to the gap there. I accidentally took a card. Up there maybe? Okay. I'm just gonna check where we are here. 3069. Okay. And this turn is 25, so $30.69. Probably doesn't have to be exact, because I'm sure just like the chairs, a lot of the tables would be kind of askew a little bit, but $25. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that thing. I apologize for that. But he's helped to keep things cleaner than it was in the past. It's like I said, I have had my share of visitors that come and aim to disrupt by just spamming things, so I think his quirks outweigh, I mean, his ability to kind of keep things at bay outweigh his quirks, so I'll apologize for Mr. Moo. So 3069, copy. And 2575. Last ones for these. And 25, so do that one. Well, I don't know about that. I think that has to do with if I'm really big on advertising myself, which I'm really not. I have a few threads or mentions in the official forums, and I know there's a few that have passed the word on to their guildmates and stuff, but I really don't like go crazy with, I tweet it once in a while, but I don't like do it regularly. I figure just if people are interested, they'll watch, and if not, not that big a deal if I don't have a huge audience. But yeah, if you know people that would be interested in this type of stream, be welcome to point them in this direction. It'd be much appreciated. Because really the goal is just to kind of, especially for new builders and those just coming into WildStar, to give them an idea of the possibilities. and to not be so intimidated by the system itself, and to be willing to experiment and think outside the box. Don't have to use an item just as the item comes. You can flip it and pair it with something else and make something interesting. Okay, so that's the 2 final rows. I think I'm gonna leave this pretty much open. Well, yeah, I'm pretty consistently goofy. That's for sure. Yeah, I think I've been at it for really, I don't know, a couple months, maybe more. And while I do gain followers, it's slow but steady, I guess. As you can see, I don't really have too many regulars that drop in all the time. I've seen some streams where they have, like, 50 or 20 viewers all at once. I think that would actually be kind of hectic for me. I would be like in a panic mode trying to answer everybody's questions, and if the chat's really going by fast, that would probably freak me out. But so I kind of tend to like that. I just have a few that, there's like Pawn and Samson and Cowboy, all of them. They don't drop by every day, but they're pretty regular, and I've gotten to know some of them about, the type of things they're interested in and some of the projects that they're working on. And I like that more one-on-one kind of thing. I think if there was, like, hundreds of people in the chat, it would be kind of crazy. I really do think that would be hard to follow along. But anyway, I appreciate you dropping by. And the casino, while the interaction isn't always there, it is something to kind of bounce off of, and it saves me from having to talk to myself, so that's always a plus. Okay, time for some more chairs. Like I said, I think I'm gonna leave the back row mostly empty and then have just a few here. I figure most people will probably be up towards the front. I don't know, maybe that's backwards thinking, because, like in class, a lot of kids don't like to sit at the front because that's where the teacher will call on them. But I'm going by, I guess, the idea that older players would be like, I can't see the board from way back here, so they have to be up front. So we'll say that's the reason. So let's see. We'll get 9 more, and I'll just kind of put the mouse in different places. Okay, let's get a straight one here. Don't sit in it. Okay, and first we'll check. Oops. Why did you hop over to that one? You really like that chair over there. Okay, so she's a little further back than probably the others, but I think it'll be. We're not looking for total and complete accuracy here, so let's just. We'll have another one kind of sitting by themselves. Maybe a little closer. And this one will turn. Oh, for crying out loud. I'm going to go ahead and one in the back here as well. Let's see, we'll put them, maybe they like this end table. Well, we'll see. I'm not one of those that really gets into the just uh, willy-nilly on the building. I prefer to kind of have a plan. So yeah, mine's more kind of, I guess it's kind of robotic, where I have a vision in my head and I say, okay, this is what I need and this is where I want to put it and it's got to be this way, that way. That's one of the reasons why I'm not very good at the landscaping, because that's really organic, like at its core, and I know a couple of builders that are really great at that, and I admire how they're able to just kind of wing it. But for me, that's really not the way I go about it. So I tend to be a little bit more specific about my plans and stuff. I do a lot of research before I even start a project, and others, they just kind of, well, I'm just going to start slapping things together and see what comes of it. For me, it's too nerve-wracking, because I'm already going to be dedicating a lot of time into it, and I don't want to get like halfway through a project and realize it looks like crap, and then I have to scrap it all even before I finished. I do know a lot of people that do that. In fact, one of my guildmates, he's all the time scrapping his midway through, even though it looks awesome to me. He feels he's a little extra critical on himself. But yeah, if I've inspired you to kind of work on your own plot, then my job has been a success, because really that's one of the top goals, is to get people more involved with housing. Not just those that already have built in the past, but those that are thinking about it or not quite sure if they want to get into it. Because for me, housing is kind of like my personal end game. And it's really kind of funny because it really never ends. There's always something new to build. You know, even if you built a complete, space station, nothing stops you from scrapping it and trying something new. And wow, that was really loud. One of the local farmers' tractors looking around on the road. So apologies if that's really loud. But anyway, yeah, I hope you have fun and good luck with it, and hope to see you back again. Let us know how it turns out. Okay, I'm going to finish placing these chairs in this general area, mostly in this row, I think. And then I'll count how many we have left over that we didn't fill in, and those will stack on against the wall. Oh, quit sitting in the chair. You're killing me. That's possible. I kind of tend to work in like a monotonous kind of way. I keep the countertops the same material, the walls the same material. I know a lot of people change that up. I did do that with my my alts plot when I did the custom built house there. I made sure to use different materials for the walls in the different kinds of rooms to kind of make them stand apart from the general overall kind of look. But that's just a personal preference of mine. For others, this is kind of like a basic thing. You see what I do and go, hey, I could do that a little differently and probably make it look cooler. And I'm saying, go for it. I want to see other people attempt similar or give it their own twist and make it better, because I know there's way better builders than myself that can really you know, like they maybe use different tables or whatever. I'm kind of a more simplified builder. I do some things that are a little complex or confusing, but like I don't have the gumption for making a maze or anything like that. Um, I'll leave that to those that prefer that kind of thing. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. Um, let's see, put him here. He don't want to sit by the loner in the corner there. And we'll just drop that here. Okay, so that's, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 chairs. Lucky 13. Couldn't have planned it better myself. It's just like items like there will be certain things that I'll put together, especially on my alt plots. They're more, the idea behind them is I only use what I can really readily get a hold of with them. They're fairly low level. I think they're in their 20s or something like that. So they don't have as much access to certain decor vendors and such as my main does. So I'm kind of limited in a lot of ways in what I use. And that's just an added challenge because I like for this project here, basically just about everything I think I've used here, I've bought straight from the vendor. It's kind of to show people that you don't have to have the big bucks, you don't have to have the uber cool items from the raid drops and from the boss drops in the dungeons and or from rep vendors and things like that. Those items are great and they do add a lot of extra dimension to some of your builds, especially like, you know, when you're going for special effects like water effects and things like that. There are just certain decor that perform better in giving that illusion a more realistic appearance. But for me, when I'm working on an alts plot such as this one, my goal is to try and keep it as cheap and as simple as possible, as far as I don't go out and grind for specific decor because I think it's the only thing you can use for that particular kind of a structure. So yeah, it's just different things. I think, you know, if you're a builder that really is happy with going out and getting all of those snazzy items and using that in your builds and showing how you put that together, wonderful. Others will follow through. It's kind of like the massive umbrella trees. Those are pretty expensive now, mostly because of folks that have used them in their plots and made that item pretty popular because of its versatility. Hey Pro. I know I don't give everybody their full name. I just kind of shorten it because it's easier than trying to go the Pro Taku or whatever that is. Anyway, so yeah, I'm sure the way I do, you know, the way I approach, the way I build even, you know, I don't use Katya's add-on as often as probably others do. I'm probably a lot less slow, a lot more sloppy, but you know, that's the way I do it. And so maybe not necessarily pick up my habits, but definitely pick up the passion that I have for the housing. But yeah, I agree, Pro. Housing is really the big draw for me. As soon as I saw the first the dev speak or the WildStar flick that they had of it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a game for me. It's like, you know, And it's funny because you think, well, housing is kind of like a girly thing, but I know a lot of guys that really uh, go all out with like making spaceships and mecha warriors and things like that. The theme for this room, it's a bingo hall. It's inspired by a guild event that I'm conducting. Um, we're not actually using it um, for this purpose. It's just I wanted a side project to work on, and I thought, well, what the hey, I'll see if I can build a bingo hall. But yeah, you can see I've got the board here. There's a little poofer thing where the ball comes out, and then you mark the balls on the collar board down here, and then it lights up on the board back here. And then you got your little pattern, and this is supposed to be where the last called number is, and then the call that's being called right now. I just didn't want to go through the headache of trying to make numbers for everything, because that would be just a little over complex for me. You could do that if you want to really get super detailed with a build like this. This is just kind of a broad example of, if someone wanted to make a bingo hall or some other kind of game hall, it could be used for a variety of things. This is just my little interpretation. Nothing super fancy, it's just a lot of it's just a goofy side project. That's all I can say. I mean, as you can see, I don't even have a roof yet. I'm having to use these oversized sconces just to make sure I've got enough lighting here, because I haven't set up the majority of it yet. But yeah, I have a few guildmates that are that way. As soon as the Technophage stuff come up, suddenly their entire plot is pink and neon-y and stuff. Same way with the strain. And I do that too sometimes. As soon as I get a new piece of decor, I'm thinking, what can I do with it? Where can I put it? I gotta use it. I gotta use it, because it feels bad to have a really cool item and then not use it. It's like in the beginning. As soon as you started getting all these different plushies from vendors or from drops, you go to everybody's house and everybody had a plushie collection showing, every single one that they've got. Myself, I've kind of gotten to where I steer clear of that. I use plushies more specifically than that. I use them either as an NPC kind of, like if I have a lot of Protostar guys running around, and I'll throw out a few others if I feel like it adds to the build, but I don't like show everything. It's the same way with the travel posters. A lot of people wanted to show off their accomplishment of having obtained all of the travel posters, so you'd have like just walls and walls lined with those things. And for me, after a while I got bored of that, so I tend to not show a lot of that stuff. But I agree. A lot of people, once a new stuff comes out, like the hover park pieces, suddenly we had lots of hover park themed kind of builds and tunnels and lots of sewer themes for all of the tubes and stuff. And I think that's just a normal kind of deal. I expect the same thing to happen when we have our first in-game kind of events for the holidays, like Shade's Eve and the Winter Gala for the Protostar thing for Christmas time. I think we'll see a lot more spooky themed homes and holiday homes. That's just to be expected, I think. Yeah, yeah. I think if you can find fun ways of adding in those new items, things that you've found along the way, that's even more clever. And a lot of ways, I think I toured a home last week or the week before where that's how they used their treasure room. They just said, hey, all of these special little nifty one-off kind of items that I don't have like a whole crap load of them, I'll make it part of my treasure room, and it fits. That's a good way of incorporating an unusual item that way. Scrooge McDuck. Well, that's an old. I've not heard that one in a while. I think I used to watch that when I was younger. Anywho, let's see, what was I doing? Oh, the chairs. So we got these 13 precious little chairs that haven't been placed yet, and the idea is that as people come in, they fill in the front, and as more come in, they just grab a chair and drag it over to the table. We're talking seriously old-fashioned bingo halls, because I think nowadays they have like built-in chairs and electronic cards rather than ones you actually daub and stuff with your ink. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drag one over and just going to pop him kind of against the wall there. And then, oh, there's Katya's add-on there. We'll just copy and then start cloning this up. The only thing I need to watch is that I don't go past the number that I have actually in my inventory. Now I know it's going to look a little weird because the chair legs probably won't match. They won't be sticking out past like an actual chair stack would be, but it's just a general idea, so it's not a biggie, I don't think. Now I know her add-on is supposed to be able to make it so that if you have like a specific offset, you can kind of just repeat it. I've already forgotten how to do that, so I'm just going to eyeball it for myself. Let's see, how many we are at? Chair. We've got 9. Ugh, don't try and sit on it. Crazy thing. And let's see, let's just make another stack here. Might be too high. Let's see, how many we got left? 4. Exciting world of housing, just watching me stack up some chairs. Oops, that looked awful. That's why I think a toggle to set a chair either active or not active would be helpful, because look at that. That just looks bad. It just looks really bad. Okay, so there's 2 stacks of chairs. I think we used them all up. Yep. And I like that they're not even. You know, you got your taller stack and the smaller stack. Perfect. Sort of. Good enough. Good enough. Okay, so now we need to finish slapping some cards down for our players here. You know, if I wanted, I could go through and add some plushie players, protostar players, but I'm gonna leave it open. You know, you never know. When your plot is set to public, you know, it could be that someone stumbles across this place and says, "Hey, maybe I can get my guild to come out and we'll just kind of goof around, take some screenshots or something." And leaving the chairs open allows for them to do that if something, you know, like that actually were to actually happen. It's unlikely, but it's possible. So when you're building something like this, a public kind of building that would be used that way, keep that in mind. It's like you know, there's a lot of bars, setups, and things or clubs that they have the little bots acting as the vendor people. A lot of them like to leave that out because, in fact, a couple of my guildies have bars where they actually leave that empty because they have people come in and roleplay the role of the bartender and DJ and stuff like that. So that's always something to keep in mind when you're building something like this. Do you want to add in a bunch of plushie players, or do you want to leave it for an actual group of people? Granted, if I ever got this many people on my plot, that would be pretty crazy, but... Okay, so... Bingo cards. Let's see. First, let's check. We have the doors. No, we do not. Just gonna grab a handful and start dumping them out here. Now, again, the reason I'm not using Katya's add-on for these is because when it clones the floor pieces, it clones them underneath because of the offset. So, like if I copy this one and clone it, the clone will actually be underneath, not directly laying on against the surface of the table. It would be kind of inset. So I'd have to move the top one, which is already there, to a new place, and then I have to re-click the other one to de-shift it. You can do it that way if you want, but I prefer just to do it the old-fashioned way, copy. I don't find this as horrible as a lot of people do. It might be because I've been doing it for so long. I don't know. I started WildStar back in the beta, so I've been working on housing from day one. And I'm kind of like one of those, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I'm kind of set in my ways in how I build, how I approach it, so it's kind of one of them things. Just like typically in a lot of the games I play, I end up turning the music off, and I think WildStar is the only one that I keep the soundtrack running. I don't listen to anything off to the side or just mute the music altogether. So that's got to say something for the music there. I don't know if it's because it changes frequently enough or it goes mute on its own every now and then or what, but I just haven't gotten tired of it. Now I say that, and when I did have the protostar theme on my plot in the past, I did have to kind of turn that down a little bit because after working on it for hours and hours every day, that did kind of get a little on my nerves. But generally speaking, when I'm out in the world or sitting here working, pretty okay. These guys don't have any cards at all. Well, that's alright. My stomach is growling. I never know what's actually being picked up by my microphone. In the beginning, boy, when I first started streaming, I had a lot of issues with my equipment. The camera made me look like a Smurf because come to find out the camera was actually incompatible with the version of Windows I was using, so it wasn't working properly anyway. But a lot of times it would make me look like a Smurf. I had there was a blue tint to the entire picture, and it was kind of the same with the microphone. It was like hypersensitive, and it was like a lot of constant background noise, like a kind of thing. And so that is one thing I kind of changed up just to be able to stream a decent stream for my birthday, or maybe it was for Christmas. I can't. My husband got me a new webcam, and that's the microphone I'm using. I don't like the headset stuff. And while I know a lot of streamers, they use the headsets and it's supposed to be better quality and all that. Why is that down below? Anyway, hopefully that's been cleared up. I get a few complaints every now and then saying that they can't hear me, or you know, whatever kind of complaint they're going to give. But I think the majority say it's running off. So. But again, that's an example of you don't have to have like the super uber top equipment. It's okay if you can afford that, but if you can't, you can run it on some of the basic kind of stuff. I don't really have any super fancy kind of equipment. You know, I know there's some streamers that like actually use a green screen behind them to kind of make it look like they're kind of floating in space or whatever, so that you can't see anything of the background behind them. I just make sure that, you know, there's not clothes hanging all over the chair back there and stuff like that. But you know, and you can see, well, he's on this side. There's Darcy sitting in the back there, up on the counter, watching me play. But you know, streaming's not for everybody. There's a lot of people that are nervous about having their face seen. I had debated on whether or not I would actually use a webcam, because I know it's not required. But after much personal debate and thought about it, I thought, well, what the hey. People don't like, you know, the way you look, you know, they don't have to watch. That's how I look at it. It's not necessarily about me. It's about the game. And I have asked people, have had people ask that I turned the little camera part off, the bit that shows up here. But I explained to them it's actually serving a more important purpose than just showing my ugly mug. It's hiding the chat. Because when I'm streaming, I don't completely ignore everybody that's in game, like in my guild, or folks that I know that sometimes whisper me for just to chat about housing and stuff. I leave that open so that if they do happen to be on when I happen to be streaming, that I'm not completely ignoring them. It doesn't happen a lot, but I just don't want to feel rude, you know. And even though I'm choosing to show myself on the stream and to, you know, talk and everything, I don't want to invade their privacy. I could say, hey, I'm streaming, you know, sure you want to be in the chat, but I would have to do that all the time, and I just don't want to bother. It's just easier just to cover it up and keep that private. It's the same reason why I don't stream like guild events and stuff typically. I did talk to my guild leader about the possibility of streaming some of our raids, but he felt, and I agreed, that it might add undue stress to those that were in the raid team, feeling like they have to be kind of behave themselves, or just undue added pressure, knowing that it's going to be filmed, and he wanted to keep it as casual as possible. So I don't do that, and the same excuse behind the covering up the chat. A lot of people like to show the chat, and same way with the Twitch chat. I think there's plugins or something you can use so that the Twitch chat actually shows up on the stream footage. But again, maybe there's things I just don't want showing up. I tend to keep like one of the things I feared is when I'm playing, especially if I'm raiding or really probably any kind of combat, I can get a little vocal about my frustrations. I use some colorful language, and while I know there are streamers that allow that and they do that themselves, I tend to steer clear of that kind of word usage while I'm streaming. I think the worst thing I say is maybe crap, but or crud or something like that. It's like the harshest I think I've let slip, and I still try to keep that to a minimum if I can. But when it comes to like the chat, or like say I was listening to TeamSpeak or whatever for the guild, there are some that tend to be a little bit more colorful in their descriptive words, and I don't want that to kind of invade the stream here, so I don't bother to show that kind of stuff. Okay, I don't know why I'm talking about that. I'm just rattling on. Let's see, we'll give this one back here. We'll give him a couple of cards again, I think. These loners, they like to increase their chances of winning, I guess. So one more casting floor. Oops. I just put that in the crate, didn't I? Now, as a reminder, we are having the house tours on Wednesday, as usual, and this week is Dominion's turn. So I've been trying to prep a list as far as who I'd like to visit. I've got 2 on the list so far. I have a lot of the list that I keep tabs with in the forum, in the official forums. On my computer, I have a copy of that list, and I keep an extra bit of names at the bottom of that list as possibles. There are players that have a tiny bit of custom building, but not like enough to warrant a long kind of tour of their entire plot, because maybe the rest of the plot is pretty I hate to say subpar, but it's really what it comes down to for me. They have this one little tiny gem of like awesomeness, and then in this big sea of meh, you know. And so I have like a long list of possibles, and I'll probably be going through that list today and tomorrow to kind of see if any of them have continue to build and incorporate a lot of extra goodies. And if they have, and I feel like they've done enough, then I'll move them up to the actual official list. And if they've really done a really superb job, then I will probably add them to my possible stream visits. But Dominion sides, I hate to say that they're not into housing. I know there are a lot of Dominion players that are, but it just seems like I'm having a hard time finding a regular number of new listings. They're kind of far and few between, and I don't know if that's the difference in player population. I imagine it's something to do with that. Maybe a certain type of player is kind of attracted to a certain faction, and there just aren't a whole lot of housing players on Dominion's side. I don't know what it is, but it just feels to me that I just don't see as many new homes popping up on Dominion's side as I do on Exile. And that's a shame, because it makes it harder for me to find enough homes that I feel are really ready for a full-fledged live tour kind of thing. But we'll see. I'm gonna work on it today and tomorrow, like I said, and do a lot of random visiting. I did find a couple of places yesterday. In fact, I met the owners of both. And one actually took the time to give me a kind of a personal tour, pointing out some of the things that they thought I might want to mention on the stream. So that was very helpful, and everything. But all in all, for the most part, it's really tough to find a lot of new nice houses on Dominion side. I'm gonna keep looking. I know they're out there somewhere, but I'm just not having the luck that I usually have. Because for Alliance, not Alliance, for Exile side, it's, I don't know, it seems like every time I turn around, there's at least 2 or 3 new houses that I've not spotted, and I can add them to the list, and then like one of those 3 I'll pick for adding it to the tour for the next time I do a stream. But I just don't have that luxury with the Dominion side. So if there are Dominion out there that either are keeping their homes private for whatever reason, you know, consider opening them up and, you know, letting us take a peek, because I would love to, you know, represent you guys as far as showing off that, you know, you guys have some really awesome stuff too. Now, there was one house on Dominion side that I came across, and the day I was going to stream their house, they decided to close it up for private use only. And it's a real big disappointment. I've been tempted to email them in game to ask if maybe they consider reopening, but I hate to be pushy about that kind of thing. You know, I feel like players should be able to, you know, do what they feel like they want to do when they want to do it. You know, it's basically, I don't want to say, hey, you know, you need to finish your plot now so I can show it. You know, and you've got the schedule and you've got to stick to it and that kind of thing. So I keep checking to see if their house has been reopened. So fingers crossed, maybe they've decided to change the theme and they've just shut it down for a while. They're working on it, and eventually it'll reopen. It'll be even more super grand, but it's a shame that I found it at the time that they decided to close it, because it was a really nice plot. But that's the way it goes. And so anyway, I think I'm gonna shut it off for today. We got quite a bit done. It doesn't feel like it, because it's kind of like just the monotony of putting out tables and chairs and cards. But I feel like we're coming along. I'll probably work on it probably for the rest of the week when I'm not doing the house tours. And again, I will be starting up the new CBDC project, which will also be on this plot, so it's not like I'm going to have to go hop and characters or anything. But this month's theme is swimming pool. I know I've seen a lot of people do many different versions, and I'm going to see what new fandangled way I can come up with something that looks like a swimming pool. But that's the challenge for my guild this month, is to build a swimming pool. I don't know if any of them are working on it currently. I've got another activity that some of them have been occupying themselves with, so it might be kind of tough for them to do both at the same time. But so I will probably be starting that soon as well. If not this week, definitely next week, because while we do have the entire month to work on it, more or less, I don't like putting it off to the last minute. But so yeah, bingo hall, gonna work on some more of that. Probably just what's left is a little bit of decoration here, you know, a stack of cards. I still want to put out some of the old-timey daubers, little ink daubers, so it'll probably be like some of those medium bottles or something. Maybe some Lucky Charms, if I can come up with some goofy stuff that they could put out here. But I'm going to leave it pretty Spartan beyond that. We'll definitely add a roof, add in some lighting, that kind of thing, but not going to get too much more fancy with it. I think it's just a kind of a basic, kind of a rough outline. You know, someone else can really take it and go with it nuts. But anyway, we'll be doing that. We got the CBDC that I'm going to be working on, and of course we've got the house tours every Wednesday. So I hope you've enjoyed today's episode, and I hope that you're back with us at some point. Even if you're not watching live, if you're just watching it recorded, I appreciate it. Spread the word, though, if you have friends or guildmates or passing acquaintances that have an interest in housing and you think they might find this interesting, then yeah, pass on the word. The more the merrier. If you have questions, suggestions, concerns, whatever, I'm all ears. You can contact me in-game directly. My character names are on my Twitch channel page. I have all of my alt names and my Chua name for my Dominion alt as well. You can contact me in-game. If you have houses that haven't made it to my list, or even if they are on my list and you feel that they deserve an actual live tour, give me a poke. Let me know about it. The same way if you know of a friend's house or a guildie's house that hasn't been toured or hasn't been on the list and you feel it deserves a spot, just pass along the name and I'll take a look. Because a lot of it is I just do the random visitor tool and I just pick a name, go visit. It's nifty looking, I jot it down. If not, I move on to the next one, next one, and the next one. And I just do that for hours. It seems hours and hours. Out of like the 50 not so great homes, you might come across one really gem of a home, and those are the ones I'm interested in. The main requirements for the homes that I look for is I do look for those that have a lot of custom built decor, be it the house itself, even if all of the furniture is just placed. If the house itself is a custom build, that interests me, because you know everybody's looking for different layouts and ways they can do windows and doors and things like that. So that's a plus. Even if it's a prefab home and it's got all of these prefab fab kits, as long as they've got a lot of custom built furniture like kitchen cabinets or the bathtub in the bathroom, you know, or shower stall, the couches and chairs are even custom built. That's a big plus. If it's a combo of the two, even better. You know, the more the better, more or less. If you have a jumping puzzle, uh, or a unique theme, even if maybe there's not a whole lot of custom building, if your theme is unique enough, that interests me as well. Um, but like I said, because I use the visitor tool and I just kind of randomly come across these places, there are a lot that I probably miss, either because maybe the name doesn't stand out. You know, if you see a lot of um, my house, my house, my awesome house, my house, my house, you kind of tend to get to where you ignore those. You go for the ones that have really nice names or that draws your attention to it. It's kind of like the book cover kind of thing. You don't want to judge it necessarily by just the name alone, but that's like your first impression. You know, if the name pops and looks different from everybody else's, then that's one I'm going to probably go check out first. When I get really desperate, then I start visiting a lot of them. My home, my home, my home. But general rule, those usually don't have a lot of things done to them. But like I said, there's chances where I'm missing a lot just because of how the tool works and the randomness of it. It just might be that your house never shows up on my list, or it does, and I just happen to see somebody else's home that I click first. So, you know, if I've missed them and you feel it deserves a look, let me know and I'll be happy to drop by. And you never know, it may end up on one of my tour episodes. But anyway, have a great day. Good luck with your projects. It would be great if, you know, some of my viewers would either send me pictures of their stuff or let me know where I can see them. If, you know, if they're on Javit's side, then definitely I would love to be able to see your special projects. But if not, that's okay. Post it in the forum, you know, your own videos and screenshots. That's because, you know, your work inspires us, and that's how even better things come about. You inspire someone else, and they inspire someone, and they inspire someone, and it just kind of spreads like wildfire. And that's really my big goal, is to get the word out and get more people building. So until then, I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.